Okay, good morning everybody. Welcome to the licensing subcommittee this morning. Welcome to the meeting of this licensing subcommittee. In accordance with the 2020 coronavirus regulations, this meeting is being held remotely to facilitate attendance and enable the consideration of important matters during the current COVID-19 situation. Clarity: all members of the committee joining in remotely are able to contribute and vote on any matter. I would ask all attendees tuning in to mute their microphones unless they have been invited to speak. If anyone wishes to speak, please send a message using the message icon at the bottom left of the screen indicating your wish to speak, or the hands up function, and I will invite you to turn on your microphone at the appropriate point. When you are finished speaking, please remember to turn off your microphone again. I would remind you that at the moment, members of the public are may be viewing this meeting. Number one, have we any apologies, Shane?
No, Chair, there's no apologies.
Everybody is here. Right. Declarations of interest. Do any members have to declare any interests? No, thank you very much. Well, we're here today then for an application for a grant of a new premises licence at Affordable Grocery, Bromford Lane, West Bromwich. The Democratic Services Officer will invite the applicant and their representative to introduce themselves to the meeting to ensure they can be heard. Patrick, put your microphone on and tell us we can hear you.
I'm Patrick Burt from Cavan from here. Can everybody hear me?
Intermittently.
Yeah.
It's something to do with you and David Elliott being legally sort of
with the South Councillor.
Okay, now.
Today for some reason.
Okay, well, I'll run at the format of the meeting today. The format for the meeting today is of an informal discussion, which enables everybody present to have the opportunity to present their views. There is, however, a flow to the proceedings that will enable us to make a decision regarding this application. We will start with introduction. I'm Councillor Allen and I will be chair of the committee today. Could the members introduce themselves? Councillor Davis.
Councillor Sharon Davis from Langley Ward.
Councillor Eves.
Councillor Susan Eves from Raleigh Ward.
Thank you. I would ask the officers present at this meeting to introduce themselves. The licensing officer.
Yeah, Matthew Singosol, licensing team.
Committee legal advisor.
David Elliott, committee legal advisor.
Democratic Services officers.
Shane Parks, Democratic Services Officer.
I'm Tricia Newton, Democratic Services, and we've also got Rebecca from IT Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. To Patrick, I believe you have received a copy of how the meeting will proceed today. However, I'll run through this quickly. The licensing officer will summarise the report, of which you should have a copy, following which there will be an opportunity for questions. Any objectors present will have an opportunity to present their case, following which there will be an opportunity for questions only if objectors are present. You as the representative of the applicant will have the opportunity to present your case, following which there'll also be an opportunity for questions. Please note that the committee cannot take your personal circumstances into consideration unless it is relevant to the matter. The meeting can be adjourned at any point through the chair where necessary. You will then be given the opportunities to sum up. The committee will then receive legal advice from the authority solicitor. Following this, the committee will consider the matter in private. At this point, you and the licensing officer will be asked to leave the meeting. The decision of the committee will be sent to you in writing. This will also detail your rights of appeal where appropriate. You will obviously be given the opportunity to hang around in the open meeting, Patrick, or we go into our private meeting and then come back. We're trying to get it as pretty much as we would do in normal practice. At any point in the proceedings, the licensing legal officer may ask questions of any parties present to establish, confirm a position from a legal standpoint. right, so we'll start the meeting now, and could the licence officer please present the report as to why we're here today? Thank you, Macan.
Good morning all. We're here today to consider an application for the grant of a new premises licence in respect of Affordable Grocery 71 to 73 Bromford Lane, West Bromwich, B70 7HN, following a receipt of a representation from a local resident. The current position is an application has been made by Mrs. Saranjit Kaur for the grant of a new premises licence. The application is for the supply of alcohol off the premises Monday to Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. The premises is 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. The person wishing to sell alcohol along with other products on offer. We have received a representation from a local resident who lives on Bromford Lane. Mr. Burke from P&B Licensing has tried mediation with the resident. However, it was thought it was best if we attended a hearing. The resident isn't able to join us today, however, did ask that I read out the representation. So if I just read out the representation. So under the...
At this stage, though, we're not at that point, Macan. This is to the report in general. The objection, if we're happy with that's why we're here, then we'll go on to the objectors' concerns. So I mean, that's so we basically that's we're here for a new application. We have one objector, of which you are going to be in giving us those objections. Yep.
Yeah.
We're all happy and clear. That's why we're here today. Yep. Good. Have we any?
Yes, that's, yeah.
So everybody's happy with that at the moment. Then we can go on to the next bit, which is the issues with. I've got my script here. And of course, without an objector here, it gets a bit more difficult. All right. So now we know why we're here. Then we will go to the Macan being the objector. Or putting the objections through on their behalf. All right, Macan. Just need to keep things on the flow properly. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, we have a representation from a resident of Bromford Lane who's not in attendance today, but has asked that I read out the representation. So if we look at the first heading, to prevent crime and disorder, the resident has wrote, we already have 2 premises that sell alcohol on the street, and we can see regular drinks, I think she means drinkers, walking along the street, some in dressing gowns in the morning already drinking alcoholic drinks from bottles or can, which is then dumped by a land that is fenced on the street. This will cause an increase in people on the street, more cars trying to park, and more noise and disruption to the people who live on the lane. Under the heading of public safety, Bromford Lane is a main road and the speed of the cars on the road do not adhere to the road speed limit, and this new premises will just add to cars trying to park on an already congested road, causing hazards to anyone trying to cross the road or walk down the street due to cars parking on the pavement. Lots of vulnerable people live on the lane, and this is putting them at risk. Under the heading of to prevent public nuisance, another licensed premises could cause public nuisance on the lane. We have 2 premises selling food, paper and alcohol. We do not need another shop selling alcohol. A 3rd shop is close proximity to the other 2 shops. If one shop slashes its prices, it will lead to a public nuisance for the people on the lane, and another one a walk away on Moore Street. Enough is enough. Surely Sandwell should be encouraging a health lifestyle, not getting more access to alcohol in an area where it is obvious that alcohol is an issue to some people. The heading up to protect children from harm. Children going to the senior school or the primary school will have to pass another off license. That is the representation.
Okay. I think we'll really, Patrick, you would like to, I'm sure you'd like to respond to those on behalf of your clients.
I'm actually in my session. I'm going to go over
All right. Is everybody happy with that?
now.
That's
Well, I will.
acceptable.
I'll go through the points raised in the so I'm quite happy if to go ahead with that if you're happy.
I think we're happy with that if it covers everything that the objector has. But if we think if you miss anything, I'm sure we'll pick that up. You're happy with that, David?
Yeah. Is the sound okay for everybody? It's still a bit sluggish.
Okay, at the moment.
Right. Okay. Yeah. If Patrick just goes ahead and makes what's being proposed in full. To give you a hint, Patrick, on one issue, you're probably aware we're consulting on a new licensing policy. It probably would have been implemented by now had it not been for the lockdown. One of the issues in there is a general issue. If the DPS or has more than one premises, we like them to stay in the Sandwell premises for at least half the time. So we don't know what the background to this is, and it may well be, it's probably likely that this is our only premises, but if you could just touch upon that for us in your application, that would be helpful. And run through, if you could run through what looks like a fairly comprehensive operating schedule quickly and concisely, that will be helpful as well. Thanks.
Yeah, just to say, Dave, Patrick, when you get, I've only just noticed in our pack of information, we've only got under section M, the promotion of loss objectives, A, general, and B, prevention of crime and disorder. We haven't got the subsequent ones, public safety, public nuisance, and protection of children from harm. And I've actually gone back into our system meetings area and downloaded it again, and it's not there. So I'm just disappointed I didn't pick it up before. So we'll probably need to, if you put a bit more detail on those sections, I'll be grateful. Okay, unless you haven't got it either, have you, David?
I've got a fairly accurate summary at the beginning of the report, which seems to cover all the licensing objectives. I must admit I wasn't aware there was an omission, but just let me check.
I only just picked it up not long ago as well, so. So in any case, Patrick, I mean, if you need any elaboration, we'll ask you. So, would you like to proceed with your presentation? Patrick, over to you. Microphone off. On, please. Microphone still off. Patrick, you've got your microphone off.
Sorry.
We can hear you now.
I'll have to go down in a little while just to bring the other licensing objectives of that you or haven't got an issue with. I'll just go into the background of the applicant first. My clients wish to open a general store, sell alcohol alongside other products available. Family have a wealth of experience and
Excuse me,
particularly
Patrick, you're breaking up all the time.
do you want to try turning your video off and just your sound to see if it helps?
yeah. Right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's good.
Right. I'll start again. Basically, they're looking. It's a new building, and they're looking to open it up as a general store, selling. They've got a wealth of experience within the business, having run shops in West Bromwich. They managed can't remember the name of the shop, but they managed the shop. It's next door to on Leslie Junction on the street. So they were there for about 8 years. So they've got a lot of experience, and this is the only shop that they've currently got as well. So there's no issues with them having to split the time between other premises. But there are no objections from any of the responsible authorities. There's only one objection from and as Malcolm read out, the objection, under crime and disorder, the objection refers to number of premises within this application. Sorry, this is not relevant within this application with regard to within the area already. States that regulars walk down the road in the morning. My clients can't be blamed for anything that's currently happening within the area. They haven't even there are no objections from the police, the AHO. Also expresses concerns regarding it. We've stated that there are adequate bins available. With regard to public safety, refers to cars trying to park on already. Whether this shop opens as a butcher's, a baker's, or a candlestick maker's, it's still going. So those are ongoing issues anyway, and that has got nothing to do with the licensing of. Prevention of public nuisance states we don't need another shop selling alcohol. Not expresses of all shops slashing prices. There is enough business within this area to price cutting, and I would actually suggest that opening a new premises will encourage other businesses in the area to take another look at what they're doing and how they've been doing things over possibly many years. So I think it's probably a good thing.
Jen,
Concerns.
excuse me, this is quite intermittent. Do we want to
We'll have to pass an off license on.
Do we want to ask Mr. Bird to dial in, Chair?
Sorry?
We can't hear most of what you're saying, Patrick.
Mr. Bird,
It's not. Is it? Can anybody hear me?
Do you want me to? Would it be better if I phoned in? Would it be possible? Is it possible? Because everybody seems to have the same.
hello, Mr. Bird. It's Shane here from Democratic Services.
You were cutting out as well. Right.
Can you hear me, Mr. Burke? Yes, it'd probably be better if you can dial it in.
Yeah.
But can you put 141 before your number? So that the number doesn't come up on the screen. We'll wait for you to dial in. We'll just take a short adjournment.
Can I just say, if you can hear me?
What's the number I need to dial in?
It's on the actual link that you've been sent, is it?
I can't hear you.
I'll send you the link, Mr. Burke, okay?
Okay, quick adjournment then, folks. So, hold your breath.
All right.
I knew just when you thought it was going to be easier. Yeah, Patrick's still connected to this meeting. Do we know him coming? Trish, can you knock?
Do you want me to come out of this now?
Yes,
Yes,
please,
please.
Mr. Burke.
It's turn now then.
Still there now. Gone now. Macan, while you're there, I'll send you some stuff about a pub called The Wonder,
Yeah, we're still live.
So still live.
Sorry.
We're live.
Oh,
We're
sorry.
live.
My apologies. Yeah, I'll speak to you. I'll need to speak to you about it later. Sorry.
A second, I'll just send this to Macken.
It's Okay, thank you. So if anybody's sorry about the delay and a little cut off there, we needed to make sure we could hear Mr. Burke on behalf of the applicant properly. He's now dialed in, so we have him on the phone, I believe. So Patrick, over to you now. Would you like to start again, please?
Right. Okay. Briefly, my clients have basically built this shop and looking to open it up as a general store selling alcohol in addition to the other services of with just going back with regards to that, they've got a wealth of experience within the industry, and I've actually run shops in Sandwell previously, having run a shop on the high street in West Brom for approximately 8 years without any issues. So they've got loads of experience. The objection, there is only one objection from a local resident. With regards to crime and disorder, the objection refers to the number of premises already selling alcohol, and this is not relevant to the application. States that regulars walk down the road in the morning with drinks. My clients cannot be blamed for anything that is already happening, if it is already happening, as they haven't even, I don't think they've even finished building their shop yet. There are no objections from the police, the AHO, or any of the other responsible authorities. Expresses concerns regarding litter. We've stated within the application that adequate bins will be provided, will be available to customers. With regards to public safety, refers to cars trying to park on an already congested road. This is a busy road and will always be a busy road. Whatever this shop opens up as, it will always be a busy road. And issues of parking and traffic are of no relevance to the licensing objectives. Prevention of public nuisance states that we don't need another shop selling alcohol. This, again, is not relevant to this application. Expresses concerns of shops slashing prices. There is enough business within this area to compete without price cutting, and I would suggest the opening of a new premises will encourage other businesses in the area to up their game, take another look at what they've been doing and how they can improve. So I think this will be a benefit to the area. Protection of children, concerns that children will have to pass an off licence on the way to school. Children see adverts for alcohol and other age-restricted products all over the place. They see it on TV, on buses, on billboards. Walking past the shop will not cause any harm to children. I did have a conversation with the objector, and during that conversation, her only concern to me was the fact that it was another shop selling alcohol. Through Macam, I've also forwarded the whole of the application, and I think you've referred to some of one of the pages may have been missing, but the objector has had all of the application, and prior to contacting me, she had a chance to read through the whole of the application. I'll go through the possible pages that are missing. I think you said you've got prevention of crime and disorder. The pages that I think that you've said are missing are public safety. We've put in the application that prominent signs will be displayed requesting customers to have regard to local residents when leaving the premises, and adequate bins will be available for customers to dispose of litter. And with regards to prevention of public nuisance, Challenge 25 policy will be adapted in order to reduce potential for underage sales of age-restricted products, including alcohol. If a customer appears to be under 25 and cannot prove that they are eligible to purchase the age-restrictive item, then a valid UK passport or driving licence, a valid passport or pass accredited proof of age scheme, they will be refused service. Challenge 25 posters will be displayed at the premises to enforce the policy, and posters will be displayed at each till, each area alcohol is stocked, and at the point of entry to the store. The posters will be displayed prominently and in sight of customers and staff. A refusals register will be used to record all incidents when a sale is refused, and the register will be kept in the store at all times unless it is requested by authorised officers of responsible authorities. The refusals register is to be checked and signed off by the designated premises supervisor every 2 weeks. All staff working at the premises involved in the sale of alcohol or any other restricted products, including alcohol, will receive ongoing training, and this will be refreshed at least every 6 months, and they'll be recorded in a staff training register and will also be included in a written test of knowledge. The training records must be made available to authorised officers of responsible authorities on request and should be retained at the premises. I think those are just the points that you've missed off. And with regards to the objection, I'd draw your attention to the case of Thwaites v Wirral. The case in the High Court on the 6th of May 2008 has emphasised the principles laid down by the Licensing Act 2003 and its accompanying guidance, Section 182, that there should be a light touch bureaucracy applied to applications and variations for licences, and that restrictions should only be attached to premises licences if they are necessary to promote the licensing objectives. It also highlights the fact that decisions on applications should be based on evidence and not based on speculation. And it's our application that the representation submitted to Sandwell, as in the case of Thwaites v Wirral, is speculative in its content, and if the authority gave weight to these speculative opinions, it would in fact fail to follow Section 182 guidance and its own statement of licensing policy. As I say, I did speak to the objector, and her concern was just simply that it was another shop selling alcohol, and I think within the application we've put enough measures in place. I also pointed out to her that with a 10 p.m. closing, we're probably closing earlier than other shops within the area that are probably all licensed till 11 p.m. So we're probably closing earlier than the other shops in the area. I don't know. I mean, basically, the only other thing that I will say is that there are no objections from any of the responsible authorities. There is only one objection from a local resident. There are many local residents within the area, and none of the other residents have felt the need to object or have felt the need to comment in any way to this application. It's a new shop, and in my opinion, will improve the area. If you've got any questions, I'm quite happy to take any questions. So that's all I'll say for now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Berg. I've just got one question. We're looking at the address of this property as 7173 Romford Lane. 71 is partially a sweet shop, which is also being developed, and we've got 73, and a bit of 71 is going to be this new shop.
This is the address that I was given. This was the address that I was given was 71 to 73.
Yeah.
Bromford Lane. And they've actually built a new shop. There isn't any other shops next door or anything. So I don't know whether that's.
No, there is. 71 and 73 was two.
It may well have been two shops previously. I honestly don't know the history of it.
73 wasn't a shop.
Right.
71 and still is a sweet shop, and has also had a new frontage and roller shutters and access on from the centre on a ramp, the same as your client. Not a problem.
Right.
It's just whether there's
I think it's all the same shop because there's nothing next door. To my knowledge, there's just houses next door.
I did look on Google. I had to go up to West Bromwich, so I did stop. And when I looked on Google Maps, it was before the redevelopment of the both shop fronts.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get.
I mean, to my knowledge, they're still in the process of actually building the shop.
There was a big skip outside full of rubbish. Yes.
Yeah. When I submitted the application, it was just a shell of a building.
Yeah, the actual application and the space you're looking at is fine.
Yeah,
because that's the space that we're talking about, which is it's complicated, but it's something. I think I need to talk to you outside of this meeting because it's something else, not to do with this this application.
Right.
It stands fine.
Okay.
But it's just it's the fact. I mean, it's and in fact that shop that was the sweet shop has got new signage already up there. But that doesn't apply to what we're here looking at today.
No, I think it is all the same building. To be perfectly honest, I think it is. I don't know.
No,
I meant to have a look this morning when I came, because I came up that way this morning. But I meant to have a quick look.
The layout we've got is effectively that is what is all right.
Yeah.
That's what we're dealing with. So I'm not worried about that. But it's just the confusion long term that 71, 73 is in fact two premises.
Yeah.
But don't.
To my knowledge, it's one building.
Mm.
To mine, that's what it looks like. It seemed to me, because as I say, when I went there, it was just a shell.
All right.
So,
okay, so that was listen. That was not so much a question about this application, but an observation. So you need to be aware.
Okay.
I have no other. I mean, the issue we've got in terms of the objector. Certainly, the first issue around we've already got two premises. We don't have any cumulative impact zones in that area.
No.
If we have one at all in St Samuel, but certainly
No, you haven't.
not on Broomfield Lane. And I think the issues, you have effectively have covered all of the other aspects. I think that we would have done in terms of the objectors. I don't know where we go. We haven't got the opportunity for an objector to sum up now. Whether you want to have a quick sum up, Patrick.
Basically, as I say, my clients have already got a wealth of experience within this industry.
Excuse me. Has anybody got any other questions? I have a couple of questions for.
Sorry, David.
Just the business model, Patrick. Really, from what I'm reading, basically your client is premises license holder, designated premises supervisor, and the personal license holder.
Yeah.
And her authority, she will authorise staff that don't have a personal license to sell alcohol. Is that correct?
Yes, but she'll also any staff that she's got that haven't got personal licenses will receive ongoing training. Sorry, and that training will be recorded and kept for inspection.
To train any staff for them to have personal licenses, or by virtue of her.
Her husband's actually got a personal license as well. So
Right.
you know, within the family, I think there are a few people with personal licenses. But I was talking to her husband yesterday, and he told me that he's actually got a personal license as well.
Okay.
So there's plenty of experience within the premises anyway. Whether she's not on the whether she's on the premises or not, there will be, you know, people with experience within the premises.
Yeah. So the picture of painting is it will be well staffed.
Yes.
Will be quite well qualified.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you. And any other questions from Sue or Sharon?
Oh, I do have one more question. It's really for the members, because you're entitled to use your local knowledge. One thing that came through to me in this representation, that was the mention of that there are people living in the locality that are vulnerable. What did that refer?
Yes, David, on Coyne Road, there is a council's major care home. And the people aren't necessarily locked in there, but I mean, that is an area. There's also obviously old people's bungalows and old people's flats opposite on behind Bromford Lane on Coyne Road and the roads that are off there. But I'm not sure of any other known vulnerable people other than the normal run-of-the-mill elderly who need or others who need, but people, otherwise it's a normal community down there.
This isn't raising anything that is particularly unusual in terms of how it affects the licensing objectives.
No, not at all.
Thank you.
Okay, Patrick, do you want to? Would you like to sum up then quickly?
Just to emphasise the fact that my clients have got a wealth of experience. Both herself and her husband are personal licence holders. They know that they also know the area. They've run shops in the area before, and they've never had any issues. There will not be any issues with alcohol sales taking place from this premises. That's really all I can say.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, we'll work out where we're going now. We've got too many bits of paper around. So we're at the point now, I think we've got the summing up. David, would you like to give us our legal advice then now, please?
Yeah. Great premises license. It's essentially a store with for the sale and supply of alcohol 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Premises to be open at the same time, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. 7 days a week. As has been pointed out, the missive. It's a new application. We have no previous adverse reference to refer to as regards the application. There have been no objections to the application. The objection that you have heard raises a number of issues that are probably fairly described as irrelevant. That's no discourtesy to the objections, but just with reference to the Act, issues that involve the public highway, parking, etc., are not strictly relevant to the premises. Raised about the number of shops selling alcohol are a commercial consideration and are irrelevant to the application and shouldn't be taken into account. There are concerns raised about public nuisance and possible disorder. As has been pointed out, your decision should be evidence-based. Possibly a worst-case scenario as to what might happen. The authority for that is the Daniel Thwaites and Wirral case, and the Section 182 guidance itself. That guidance again say the regime is essentially permissive and no restrictions should be put on an application without good reason. And of course, these matters can always be revisited by way of review. There are no other objections at all to the application. Your options, therefore, are to grant the application as sought. You've seen it was summarised at the beginning of the report in any case, but you've now had the original sections that were contained in the actual application circulated to you. Those will effectively become conditions of the licence if granted. So you've got an idea of what the conditions would be on the licence, or the requirements of the premises licence holder should you grant the licence. It's been made clear to you that this really is the sole business that this applicant and family will be involved with. Premises licence holder, a designated premises supervisor, and a personal licence holder with other personal licence holders in the family will authorise staff to work on the premises. Your other alternatives are to vary the conditions if you're not happy with them. You could seek to substitute another designated premises supervisor, although there's been no evidence put forward to really. You could exclude a licensable activity while there's only one, and that's the sale and supply of alcohol. You could refuse, or you could grant as is applied for. There are the relevant factors to take into consideration. An issue was raised at the beginning about the personal circumstances of the licence holder. Personal circumstances are completely irrelevant in taxi cases. I think the correct analogy in a premises licence case is they could be relevant. The second fiddle to the promotion of the licensing objectives, which is the key and primary consideration. All interests of the premises licence holder play second place to the promotion of the licensing objectives. So technically that's the correct way of looking at that. That's my advice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. In that case, a committee will now retire to consider the decision in private session, which means that Sue, Sharon, David and myself and Shane and any other Democratic Service officer need to log out of this one.
I have one last bit of advice which I should cover, I think. Mr. Burke made reference to our current policy. One thing our current policy is quite keen on. Most of it reflects the law, but it says it will address specifically any applications that are made in residential areas and look quite closely at the opening and closing times. And I think you will have noted that the closing time is relatively inoffensive 10 p.m. And as Mr. Burke has observed, that is actually earlier, or from his knowledge, as given to you, is earlier than other premises that close in the same locality. So that really is our only policy consideration that's directly relevant to the application.
There is a public house very close as well, up the road, the kebab. So they're out quite late, so obviously not an issue.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Okay.
Case, we'll move. So, speak to you soon, Macan.
Thank you.
Chair, can I just say, we'll adjourn for 10 minutes. So we'll return to the meeting at 11:05.
Okay.
the your client's application as submitted. As an aside, I would suggest it might be worth you having a chat with the planning committee just to ensure that the hours that you've asked for meet what might have been asked for in the planning application for this building.
Okay.
That's not an issue from a licensing point of view, but just a heads up to you, just to make sure you don't get some issues that you don't want later on.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anything you wish to add, David?
I'll send Patrick confirmation by way of an email to the email addresses given in his application document.
Great.
And again, we wish your clients the best of luck. It's obviously very brave in this current times to open a new business.
Yeah.
I hope they can make a success of it.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you. And if that's it, yep, that's it, Patrick. You can go.
See you later.
See you. Take care. All right, everybody else. I think that's it now. David, thank you very much again.
Thank you.
See you again, ladies. We're looking good.
Is now exiting.
I think we could do with some sunshine tomorrow. Or is it Friday, isn't it, out on the deck chairs? All right, thank you. All take care.
Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.
Shane, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Tricia, all the best.
Bye.
Tricia, bye. You're looking well.
And you.
And Rebecca, we haven't seen your face, Rebecca. You've been you're more than welcome